Hello, once again. This is Kev, and this is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. And like I say with beginning of every broadcast, if you haven't, look below the screen, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. This story is getting a lot of traction, and I decided to cover it because the situation itself is disturbing, but a lot of things that surround this situation is also very disturbing. Like read across the bottom of the screen, literally it's like that. So let's look at a story. Let's look at a headline. I always like to confirm my shit with tangible. So all right, and this headline right here reads, okay, now read it. Mother, 37, is caught on camera moments before she abandoned her 14-year-old son with special needs at an Atlanta hospital because of overwhelmed by caring for him along with three other children. All right, see, already that doesn't sound right. Let's read the story. Okay, let's read these bullet points right here. I won't read them verbatim, but I will give you just basically I'll make the point. Excuse me. Diana Elliott, 37 years old, was arrested on Wednesday, 1 week after she allegedly abandoned her 14-year-old son, Sheldon Linden, at Grady Memorial Hospital, which is slap in the middle of downtown Atlanta. They caught her on camera walking into the hospital with her son and leaving alone in a red van. Um, like, man, they said that the boy was outside of the hospital for hours before a nurse discovered him. He had no identification, and he was also appeared to be very malnourished, and he was mute, a mute child with Down syndrome. So you got a child who has difficulty communicating. Um, because I mean, I have a niece that has Down syndrome, and she says words that you could make out, but it's still like it's kind of you kind of understand her, but it's kind of tough to communicate with her. This boy is mute, which means he can't even talk or write. He can't communicate. Period. Um, and they said that they found Elliot in a DeKalb County hotel with her three other children. Okay, and they said that she told the officers that she was overwhelmed caring for Sheldon, and now she faces charges of cruelty to children in the first degree. Yeah, because from the way it sounded, she didn't even she didn't even like really talk to anyone. She just left her child outside the hospital. You know why she didn't talk to anyone? Because if she tried to talk to somebody about this, if she tried to talk to somebody about this, they would have called the police on her. Hmm. I say this is sad, and this is not the only reason that like. It's not just one single reason. It's messed up, but one of the main reasons I wanted to report this to you is the fact that I want to show you some of the reaction from women. Because with men seem to be like, okay, there's no excuse for this. She abandoned her kid. There's no excuse for this. I thought we hated people who abandon their children. And from what they talk, from what my understanding of them saying that, and me saying this too, we do not ever give a man the benefit of a doubt for leaving his children, or quote unquote abandoning his children, or quote unquote being a deadbeat father. One thing that you don't know is that with the deadbeat dad narrative is that if you look at percentages and you go research the information, deadbeat moms are just as much of a problem as deadbeat dads. In fact, the percentages, the deadbeat moms are slightly a much bigger problem than deadbeat fathers. The deadbeat fathers is the narrative. See, the reason why there are a lot of deadbeat mothers is because of one thing: entitlement. They have been raised to say, well, I'm a woman this and I'm a woman that, so I shouldn't have to do this, I shouldn't have to do that. Yeah, it's entitlement. Now, this is the Diana Elliott seen in the hospital with her son, caught on camera, moments before she left in a red van to go with her other three children. Now, think about this though. She's 37 years old and she has three other children. And her excuse was she was overwhelmed. Okay, that now this is why things like this are so sketchy. It's like, what kind of state was she in when she had the first child? And if children were so financially burdensome to her, why she keep having children? Now, I don't know if Sheldon is her youngest. He probably is. That way, I would like more details, but it's just that right now it's and this is a picture of her. This is a picture of her, the overwhelmed mother. And as always, I expected this. Social media selfies. Yep, this is 37-year-old Diana Elliott. They say nothing about a husband. They say nothing about the father of the children because more than likely there's more than one man. She probably has her four children by different men. Because it's in these articles they never mention the men. And the reason why they never really mention the men because they want to paint this horrible picture of men. They don't want to make it like, oh, she was just giving pussy out of each leg. They don't want to make it like that. They want to make her look as good as possible. This is her son, Sheldon Linden. What pisses me off so much about this is that, people keep saying he was special needs. You don't know what it's like to take care of a child with special needs. But I've seen it firsthand in my family. I mean, there's a kid in my family that's mentally disabled, and he's to the point where he needs round the clock care. And my aunt stepped up, even though she had another kid, and she will subsequently have another child after him. She stepped up and took care of that child. And yeah, she did have support. So my question to these moms out here that's claiming that, oh, the reason why she didn't have her, the reason why she left her child at the hospital because she didn't have family support is gonna go back to this question: why do these women keep having kids if they don't have a family support system? Why do y'all keep having kids? You know why? A lot of y'all having kids for a bag. But when it becomes a responsibility, an actual responsibility that you can't go around just to go to the club every Friday night and leave your kids with grandma, who knows what her family situation is? Yep, there it is again. More selfies. Who knows who knows what her family situation is? Like seriously. Like she could have been one of those kinds that said, "Hey, f my family." Yeah, I'm gonna keep having these kids like this. See, this is what I tell these women. You can't expect people to just up and just be magical supporters when you do something. Nobody has to like when you decide to have sex with someone who doesn't live with you, then you're putting yourself at risk of becoming a single mom. But I don't care how many kids these dudes have. I don't care how many kids these guys have. They're never gonna receive this benefit of a doubt that this woman is receiving right here. And it's like, and if you're struggling so much, how can you afford to keep having your hair done? Now, in the mug shot itself, I'll show you the mug shot. She got colors in her hair. How was she able to afford to do that? Like, if you don't have any support for your children, and if your children are that high maintenance, how do you find time to do these things? This is why I'm not completely buying it. I just think that this is a woman who decided that she thought that she was going to probably get some child support checks and some support from the government if she kept having children. But like I said, when it becomes a responsibility, all of a sudden it's tough. Now let's go to another article. Mom charged with leaving son at Atlanta hospital draws sympathy. Now, how many races of people you know, and I really hate bringing other races of people into it, where a mom would abandon their child and she receives support afterwards. Now, read the first line in this article right here. Some 2,000 women showed up this week into a first appearance court hearing for a stranger. They didn't even have to know her. They don't know what condition she kept her kid in, except for she stayed at a hotel. Now, here's what this article's saying. Okay, the paragraph, the first real paragraph. Okay, it says the spectators were just some of the supporters calling for mercy for Diana Elliott, who stands accused of abandoning her mute 14-year-old son, who police said has Down syndrome, at Grady Memorial Hospital last week. After her subsequent arrest, the mother told police she was overwhelmed caring for her son, along with three other children, who are all minors. She was charged with felony child cruelty, and all of the children were taken into custody by the Division of Family and Children Services. Workers workers in the Division of Family and Children Services call it DFACS. My wife used to work for DFACS. Um, the bizarre case has drawn widespread attention and started a broader discussion about how families struggle to get by when they have a child who has special needs, while they also may be enduring economic troubles. So, okay, again, here's what I'm going to do. Let's take the black woman out of the situation and insert a black man. Say, let's take Diana Elliott out of this situation. Let's insert a black man and say that he was in the same situation. Then we'll go with the narrative that we've been going with for decades. Black men just be abandoning their children. They're not, oh, black men aren't there for their children. Now, this is no comparison because this is what I get tired of too. People making up situations just to make excuses for certain people. But here's the thing, I've never made excuses for a deadbeat father. Never. I even tell these guys, y'all need to watch who y'all have sex with. Y'all need to watch who y'all putting the kid in because you can get stuff like this. But let's see where the support is coming in. Now, you got DFACS director Tom Rawlins said that he couldn't legally disclose whether the family had a history with the agency, but he said which likely she did, because that's my wife dealt with a lot of these cases. Like I mean, and I can't disclose information that she's given. I can't disclose information that she's given. But it was like this. He says, and I quote, "It can really push these families to the breaking point. We want to encourage these folks to ask for help. There are mental health services, homelessness services, and child medical services." He's right about that. There are plenty of things that she could have done besides abandoning her child at a hospital. She was 37 years old, so she had to have some amount of common sense. But think about it, she's 37 and she had four kids that are all minors. So that means that her first child wasn't that long ago. So why'd you keep having kids if they were such a financial burden? Like why did she keep having kids? Okay. Let's see. Let's see where this. Yeah, this is a long article. Yes, but this is a long article. But the fact that 2,000 women showed up for to ask for mercy from the courtroom, that just shows me that we do have a bias and we do protect people just based on gender. Period. Because, like I said, if the narrative had been a father abandoning his son with Down syndrome at a hospital, there would have been tons of fake outrage. Tons. These black men don't do nothing but abandon these children. And the people know it. And the people who listening to me say this know that that is true. Now, now she's not only receiving support in the courtroom from over 2 dozen women, she's also receiving support throughout social media. And this is where, to me, that it gets quite disturbing. Like I said, black people will go along with the narrative all day that black men are deadbeats. They don't take care of their children. But the second a woman does something, there's this outpour of excuses. So I don't want to hear how black women aren't being protected because black women are literally protected from everything. It's like you like what why I don't feel like this is protecting them at all. I don't feel like I don't feel like when you do this you protect women at all. You're enabling women to screw over kids. So let's look at this. All right. Now this goes to a Facebook posting that, like I said, when I do this, I cover the names and I partially cover the faces because the first thing y'all are going to say, "Oh, that's not a black woman that said that." Yes, it was a black woman that said that. And that's why I show partial faces because people love to deny, deny, deny. Now, this is a man that made this post. He said, I need help with this one. When men abandon their children, they vile deadbeats come of the earth. However, this woman who abandoned her child is receiving more and more support from the women. Which is it, ladies? Are we condoning abandoning children or not? And Larry at the bottom, mother charged with leaving son in Atlanta hospital draws sympathy. So what I did was, just like I said, I took some comments off of this very post, and I want to show you what these women said. One of them is a guy too, so I'll let you know. Okay, female number one, long-winded mad graph. Okay, from the beginning outset, you can already tell. She's like, mm-hmm. So sis already my hero. He may be malnourished because he has another issue, not simply because he wasn't fed. So calm that theory. All right, I just had to pause for a second because I want you to think about what she said. He may be malnourished because he has another issue, not simply because he wasn't fed. Do you know where being malnourished come from? Do you honestly? This is why I say a lot of women think that everybody's just stupid. Believe all women. Just believe what I say. No, this woman actually like now. Let me further read this because this is so amazing. Her logic is so amazing. It's cancerous. We don't know how long she's been in a hotel, but she was. It's called life. You don't necessarily deserve the bullshit just because, yes, there's a cause and effect. But have you ever heard an effect without a fucking cause? No such fucking thing. Saying she is her reason is like saying the little girl that got shot by a straight bullet shouldn't have been going home from school. That's not the same thing at all. And what happens when little girls get shot in the neighborhood? Do you care? Do you go to your activism? Because I can tell you, shortly after Mike Brown got shot by Officer Dan Wilson in Baltimore, and um, there was a little girl that was laying in her like she was sitting in her grandmother's bed doing her homework, and a stray bullet came through a window and killed her. Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. So I'm glad she said that. But still, she's showing her immense stupidity. Uh, she could have dropped all of them, but I'm sure they all not starving. Hence, she doesn't have more than one choice. I'm sure they always. Oh wait a minute! I got enough food for my 3 kids, but I don't have food for my special needs. Notice how none of the teachers reported her, obviously because she was doing her best, and eventually her best wasn't enough. Maybe she had teachers that had the mentality that you have. Okay, yeah, now she's breaking it down to black folks because that's what they do. They do anything to make excuses. My black folks, like read the bottom now. Let me see if you can see this pointer. My black folks, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? How about she should have actually had family to help? We all fall short. What I'm saying is these same women will sit up there and call black men deadbeats. But oh, since it's her, and okay, also take notice of this. And I think I said this earlier. How in the hell everything is so overwhelming, but you can afford to put colors in your hair? You can afford to have weave. And I bet some of y'all are saying, "Oh, another complaint about hair weave." I mean, she can afford hair weave, but she can't afford to take care of her kids. Fuck out of here. All right, these are two other women. These are two other women. In all caps, she left him at the hospital. Smiley face with halo and the little making the muscle arm, like you see in every feminist ad. We can do it. Seriously? Okay, the bottom comment because I told you this. Because when men leave their kid, they usually have no reason and don't care who the kid ends up with, which is the narrative. Because black men just leave their kids; they don't care. See, this is women telling men what they think, what they're supposed to think, and this is horrible. If you don't have a disabled child, you do not understand what her mind frame is. I have a different child. I have a different child and would never do this, but I'm not her and she is not me. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is what they're saying. Because the directive defect made the same excuse about having a disabled child can be overwhelming. And I mean, like a Down syndrome child that is mute, that can't communicate, yeah, it's overwhelming. But you made that kid. Okay, show y'all another brilliant comment. There it is again. Black woman. I'm sure if she had the support, she wouldn't have taken him there. She took him there because she thought it was safe for him, opposed to the hotel where they were living. She wasn't financially stable. I hope she gets all of the help she needs. I'm sure this hurt her to do. Another black woman. I agree. See how y'all agree with each other's stupidity and excuses? I'm sure if she had the support, why does she keep having children? All her children were minors. Her situation is not new. Now, this is where it gets a little disturbing. She has four kids and one of her sons is handicapped. That's a lot. And she says ABD, but I'm sure she meant to type an N in place of that B. And she left him in a hospital, which means she didn't beat him or mistreat him. In Nebraska, they had a law where you could where you could leave your kids in a hospital and it was legal. But also, I'm sure in Nebraska, you had to let them know that the kids were there. And then here goes another black woman. I'd rather her do that than kill him, but I get it. See, here's my problem with this statement. Whenever black women, and I'm staying in our community because every time I say black women, y'all think I'm painting this general ass picture of black women. But I'm being very specific, so fucking listen. Whenever black women kill their children and those articles are posted, women do one of two things. They either ignore that post or they deflect to something else, like a deflection like this. Because when the men lead their kid, like just like that deflection, they'll deflect to the men, they'll ignore it, then they'll start talking all this pro-black stuff. Uh, if this is not going any good. All right, another woman. She was homeless with no help. She had three other kids as well. She was down on her luck. So the son that was sick with Down syndrome, I guess she didn't want to be on the street with him. So she did what any sane person would do. Okay. Would take him to a hospital where he would be cared for. Nobody knows her situation. The child was 14, single mother, homeless, trying out here on these streets with these kids. Y'all have got to stop exalting single mothers. Now, I understand that some women got made into single mothers through situations they could not help, but it sounds like after four children, she could help it. Now, let me read this again. She was homeless with no help. She was in a hotel room. She had three other kids as well. Okay, she was down on her luck, so the son that was sick with Down syndrome. I guess she didn't want to be on the street with him, so she did what any sane person would do and take him to a hospital. Any sane person, any sane person would have stopped having kids they couldn't take care of. Any sane person. You're talking about sane, descriptive. Um, person would do take him to a hospital where he would be cared for. Okay, she went inside the hospital. She went back outside with him, got in a red van, and left him in front of the hospital where he was discovered by a nurse a few hours later. The article does say that. If she was the same person, she would have let somebody know, but she did. Oh, and comment of the year. This was also a woman, but her take was very different. She's overwhelmed. Bitch, keep your legs closed. So now just leave your kid at the hospital. Dippy nutty bitch. Shit foul. Who be knocking up these chicks? Who be knocking these chicks up? There's no excuse. I agree with that. Brothers, y'all need to watch who y'all getting pregnant out here. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's both of y'all fault. And I know that you were being irresponsible and you wanted some pussy, but hey, dude, a lot of that shit ain't worth it. Some of y'all have sex with these women, y'all have kids, and then it ends up being situations like this. And this is the same person. After the first kid, you knew it was hard. You decided to have three more. Help these chicks, child. Like I said, I totally agree with her. I totally agree with because that's what I've been saying. It's like it's a struggle, but you had four children, all minors, every one of them. You had four kids. Now, what I don't like about this situation is like this: the hypocrisy on display. The hypocrisy on display. Oh my god! It's like I'm not saying that deadbeat dads should get this same amount of sympathy. I'm not saying that at all because I don't particularly care too much for deadbeat fathers. I don't. But if women turn around and do the same thing, the last thing a lot of these people want to see is a bunch of sympathy from a bunch of gender first females. Because that load of excuses that I showed you guys was extremely sad. And maybe I should have more sympathy too. But I'm sorry, I just don't. Not this time. It's crazy to me how hypocritical we are as a people. But anyway, I'm done with this. I'm done being angry about this. I'm done with the outrage. I'm just asking myself how stupid people can be sometimes. But this is a call to action that I'm going to give you guys. Just do better. If you're a great parent, I commend you. I applaud for you. I will give you a standing ovation every time. And it's not because of ignorance like this. It's because you are a person that is out there. You're doing the damn thing and you're not making any kind of lame ass excuses. So hats off to you, but not hats off to Diane Elliott. I'm sorry, Diane Elliott. You just what you thought one thing and you got another, and it overwhelmed you enough to abandon your disabled child. You not only abandoned a kid, you did abandon a disabled kid. Because oh, it's so hard. It's so like you got all these women out. It's so much. Oh my God. Have the same energy across the board. Or shut the fuck up and let things play out. But I'm tired of talking about this. For those of you who watch, thanks for watching and please subscribe if you haven't. Look, I got comments. Yeah, let's see what these comments are. Uh, yeah, that's and how's everyone doing when you're watching? All right. Women are some of the biggest perpetrators and enablers of abuse. I agree with that, and I got an entire Facebook group with receipts to prove it. But people try to dismiss that anyway. Blackheart. It appears that the villain is always the man, and for nothing more than having functioning penises and less than a fortune in wealth and normal bodies under 6 feet tall. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I feel like that is discussion worthy. I mean, that's those are the narratives, though. Those are the narratives. And like I said, brothers need vasectomies and chastity lessons. Well, it's like this. There's now male birth control, which I feel like is a hypocritical discussion. But from women like this, it seems to me more and more like a viable option now. I mean, even though we don't know the long term effects, they say they tested it. A lot of these people are going to exercise that option because of women like this. Now, I'm not gonna hesitate to tell men, look, y'all need to watch who y'all having kids with, period. Because if you had like for real, it's just like have some have some like look at the signs. Just look at the signs and use common sense. I am so pro common sense, it is ridiculous. Um, and and God word says 7 says, "Where the daddy?" Yep, that's what they're always gonna say. Whenever a woman does something horrible and not in the best interest of a child, guess what they're gonna say? Where's the daddy? Where's the daddy? Without knowing the entire situation, we always assume. But anyway, I'm done with this broadcast right now. Anybody watching the replay, thank you. But I mean, as a people, we got to do better than this. We really do. I mean, if we're gonna have the energy for this woman, you need to have the same energy across the border. You just need to shut the fuck up. Period. Sorry, but okay, I'm done for now. This is Kev, and hopefully, I can report on a situation that is a lot better than this one. Like, share, subscribe, and Kev, we trust. Goodbye, and thank you. Have a good weekend.